perspective, and then you would want to have the tax code not penalize those things that produce investments in innovation and in capital deepening. And you would like to make sure that when you do that, you take whoever is investing in innovation and investing in capital deepening and treat them the same. And that's the tax policy goal, is to have this sort of nice non-distortionary impact on those kinds of decisions. And that's why you get to see 8 slides with 756,000 numbers on them today, trying to figure out exactly where we are in that quest. And so I want to thank Bob for EY's contribution to this. I'm a big fan of this work. As Brian mentioned, I was interested in another part of the tax policy issue, which is permanent tax policy is always better than temporary tax policy. And due to the constraints of the legislative process and the decision to only lose 1.5 trillion in this tax court, there are a lot of sunsets in this. That's not a good idea, other than being the same. So we asked EY to take a look at what would happen if you took all of the provisions that sunset, expensing and all the individual title provisions, just make them permanent. What goes on? And my forecast is that when you leave, you will get a folder that looks like this. It's probably the only good forecast I'll ever make. In that folder will be this piece of paper which has the answer to that question, which Bob Drew put together. And the answer is that you get, inside the 10-year window and over the long term, increases in aggregate GDP, increases in wages and job equivalents, which means that what we did in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was leave something on the table. We didn't really get all we could from a tax policy point of view to address this pressing issue in getting better growth and growth in real wages. And so that's where we are in this debate. And